Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, Control Shift ZW. This is a platform where we discuss tech-related issues in the context of Zimbabwe. So joining us today is the vice president of the Internet Society, Miss Gladys Chibanda. Welcome to our platform.
Thank you so much.
Before we start, maybe to the ordinary person who's coming across this podcast for the first time, can you please just introduce to us who is Gladys and what is I and just a short introduction.
So my name is Gladys Chibanda. I'm the Vice President of the Internet Society Zimbabwe chapter, an organization that focuses on empowering people with digital skills and advocating for internet adoption. I'm also an entrepreneur. I run a business called Craft2Deck. It's a packaging and design studio.
Okay, thank you so much, Gladys, for the introduction. Let's talk about ISOC. What does ISOC do, and what does it mean to an ordinary Zimbabwean?
Internet Society, or ISOC, is a platform that, or a member-based organization that is global, and it believes that internet is for everyone. So all over the world, there are chapters that are sitting with the common goal of making sure that the internet is available for everyone and is also safe for everyone. So all the members are voluntary. They are there to assist in the adoption of the internet as a global infrastructure and as a tool that is going to help us navigate the digital economy.
Okay, interesting. So you've said ISOC is a member of global organization. ISOC Zimbabwe chapter is a member of a global organization. How does it fit into the ecosystem? I mean, how does it relate to the global chapter or the global vision of ISOC? How does the Zimbabwe chapter fit into that?
So the global vision is advocacy for adoption of internet and safety. And the global Zimbabwe chapter then is just a platform where we advocate for or contribute to this big mission. It's using Zimbabwean policies and relatable solutions for our country.
We are just on that. Like what made ISOC Zimbabwe necessary in our local IT space?
I think there are quite a number of issues. The way internet is being adopted and digitalization is being adopted in Zimbabwe. And we're finding that anyone and everyone is on the internet now. And it's necessary for us to have the tools, the governance, and the skills to be able to navigate the internet. So now the internet is here, it's not going anywhere. And so it's imperative for an organization like Internet Society to be available and to contribute to the regulation and the policies, as well as foster safety on the platform.
Okay, so let's talk about safety that you have highlighted there. I know there are a lot of concerns about this internet being a safe space, especially for children and other marginalized communities. What any particular initiatives or programs that you are currently working on that speak to this? Like, for instance, do you have any initiatives or programs that help let's say, marginalized communities and making the internet a safe space?
So part of, I guess I've been in the Internet Society for a couple of years, and this is my third year as the vice president, and I've witnessed so many programs that we hosted and that I was also part of. And I was particularly in the branch of marginalized communities and women empowerment. And I noticed that most of the programs that we were hosting or doing had something with digital skills. And it's important for the communities, especially marginalized communities, to know the basic, to have the basic skills of navigating the internet. So it's one thing knowing how to use WhatsApp. It's also another thing knowing how to harness the power of digital marketing. You know, all these other platform AI, virtual reality, and all of these other new technologies that are coming in. So during my period, we hosted, we did a project called Empower Zim. So this project particularly was focusing on researching the problems that women experience when it comes to accessing the internet. So it started off with research, and when we got the data, we used that data to create a program to train those same women. So this project cut across 5 provinces, and we trained over 400 women on basic cybersecurity. So they knew how to navigate the internet, but what they didn't know was safety. And the other project that is currently being run is a community network in Matabeleland South in Umzimane. So this is actually one of our biggest projects because these areas actually don't have access, and if they do, there is no income for people to actually purchase data. So a community network will be shared amongst the people who are living in that area so that they are also participants on the global platform. And I'm also aware that you were part of the digital skills for people with disabilities.
Yes.
And over this couple of years, you guys have been training across the country people with disabilities. So Internet Society has done so many endeavors and platforms where people just discuss on how to create policies and what can be done. We also did IXP's forums where we discussed how to reduce data or internet costs. So these are some of the things that we have been doing and will continue doing. And the people who started the chapter have started doing.
Okay, so you spoke about 2 big projects that you are doing, and particularly the one in Matabeleland South. You said one of the biggest challenge is that they don't have the internet and the funding, and you are providing a community network. So do you have like your own service providers, or you are acting like a middleman and you get the internet services that you then provide to them, or you also have your own standalone internet service provider?
Internet Society is not an internet service provider. So there are times when internet is sketchy and the network is not networking. I receive calls like, "Oh, Gladys, you are the vice president. How far internet? Internet is not working today. Tell us." But then we are not an internet service provider, but we work with internet service providers who become the main component of the community network. And we are also leveraging on ISPs like Starlinks, which are also cheaper and cover a wider range of coverage, especially for areas like Umzimane, which is the rural area.
Maybe to take a little bit of a different direction there. So we are talking about people in marginalized societies getting involved and knowing a little bit more about the internet. What of people who are already in the tech space, who are already using the internet, developers? How then do they get involved in internet society? Of course, we can't talk about teaching them about the advantages and disadvantages of using the internet. They already know these things. How can they get involved in the internet society?
I think for developers, entrepreneurs, small business owners, it actually means that they've got a thriving digital economy that is continuously there, and it has systems, and we can measure a level of sustainability using that. So for startups, it opens conversations around secure systems, ethical tech, and for students, it introduces them to internet governance and digital safety early. And for everyday users, it builds awareness on how to protect yourself online, how to spot risks, and how to use the internet as a tool for opportunity rather than harm. I would say that in my business, I have leveraged so much on the internet, and most of the opportunities that I've gotten personally were via the internet, and have made friends through the internet. I've made connections. I have sold on the internet. So the internet is very important for everyone, not just the marginalized, but for everyday people. It's important for them to be able to participate in the global economy. I think years ago, you used to rely on newspapers, magazines for information, but now it's just like a click away. You go on social media, you know what is happening in Zimbabwe, in America, in Asia. In 5 minutes, you would have known, you've covered all that information, and it helps you plan and know what you are doing. Is it viable or not? Because the information is readily available. So imagine waiting for a newspaper to be printed tomorrow before you can access information that is going to help you make a very important decision or agent decision. So it's important that everyone has got access, and despite the area that we are in.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. So let's say for someone who's watching or listening, who might want to also get involved or maybe contribute in shaping Zimbabwe's internet space, where do you think they should start?
So I would like to say, happy to share that. The Internet Society is a free membership organization. So you can start with joining the Internet Society, and you go onto the internet. You just go on Google, join the Internet Society, and there's a link. You join for free, no subscriptions, no nothing, and also start with learning and engaging. You can't be involved in things that you don't know about. So when you learn, you engage, you attend forums, volunteer in programs, participate in trainings, and contribute ideas. You don't need to be an expert, but your curiosity and commitment and willingness to collaborate will allow you, or will give you the opportunity to be able to contribute or get involved in internet things.
Like you have highlighted, you can be involved at any level, and then you can join. So what are the other perks or advantages? Let's say I'm just someone who's joining now, besides the learning material and getting to immerse myself into the forums and other things. What are the other perks that I might get by joining the Internet Society?
So because of the nature of the platform, we've got different people coming from all walks of life and with different skills. You can also leverage on the community that you're going to have. You have software developers, data analysts, AI experts in one space. And so you can leverage on having a very rich network in IT. And then also there is an internal fulfillment that comes with going into the community and teaching a skill that otherwise sometimes we take for granted. It only took me when I started getting involved in the community. I used to think that if a person does not know how to use the internet, what are they doing? I mean, it's so simple. It's just Googling. But then when you meet someone who does not know and going through the process of switching on the computer for the first time, it gives you a sense of purpose and it gives you fulfillment that there are people that need the skill that you don't think it's important, but it's actually very important. So for me personally, it's been fulfilling, purposeful, and also giving back to the community.
And I know you've mentioned that some of these communities do not have the funding or internet, but as an organization, what would you say has been one of the most challenging or the biggest obstacle that you have faced when trying to implement your vision in Zimbabwe?
I guess it's mostly funding. Money makes things, or money makes the world go round. So, with limited funding and resources, we can only do so much. And our ideal would be everywhere there are free hotspots. And the moment you just get on Zimbabwean airport, you're now experiencing free Wi-Fi, the whole country. But we do not have the capacity to be able to provide internet for everyone. And I guess the other thing is around safety. One of the most heartbreaking situations that I experienced when I was going in communities is how new users keep on getting scammed by people who now have the knowledge of the internet. So there's a lot of scamming, there's a lot of fraud, there's a lot of, situations that are very heartbreaking. And the internet is a good thing, but it's also sort of also presenting its own risks. Society versus the demand for digital skills and cybersecurity awareness. It's very massive, but resources, obviously, funding, time, trained facilitators are limited. There's also a challenge of shifting mindsets, helping people to see cybersecurity and internet governance as everyday issues, not as technical ones. So we only wait when there's a problem to call the IT guy, to look for laws governing cybersecurity. So when there's a problem, that's when we hear, I'm suspecting my WhatsApp is hacked, or how do I solve this? So we are still treating issues to do with the internet safety and governance as secondary, not primary. And but then everything that we're doing nowadays is on the internet, and we are using somewhat technology is involved. So as the internet society, we are still, like evangelists and crusaders. We're trying to convert you to understand that this thing is not going anywhere and it's here to stay. So you have to be equipped with the right skills. But as we are transitioning, we don't have as many people who are trained in ICT, who are willing to give away their time to train people. And IT experts are still the most expensive skills to hire or consultants to have. So there is a huge demand in digital skills and cybersecurity, but we've got limited resources, funding, facilitators, and also time, because these are professionals who are committed somewhere. So it's still quite a challenge.
It's not everyone who's connected to the internet. That's number one. Number two, some people might be connected, but they face challenges of the internet being expensive. I mean, what's your comment on that? What's your comment? Because I think coverage of internet in Zimbabwe can't be more than 60% of all the people who are getting access to it. So what's your comment, and what do you think we can do to have everyone else having access besides the community projects that you are working on? Yeah, I know it's quite a lot, but as a nation, what can we do for everyone to get involved, or for everyone to get connected?
I can't exactly talk about internet service providers because they are business people. They are trying to make money. So asking them to reduce the prices of data is not even something that we can do. Yes. So it's difficult for us to ask them to do it because they are bringing the internet at a very big cost. But one of the things that we did towards the end of 2025 was to have an NIXP forum where some of these issues were discussed amongst the internet service providers themselves as well as the government, that if we put more internet exchange points, we may likely to be able to reduce the cost of the internet, because we are still using other internet exchange points. So when data is traveling, it takes a longer route to arrive, so it costs money. So if we've got more internet exchange points, it's just a recommendation that we have to the government that if we set up more internet exchange points, we may likely to reduce the cost of data.
Yeah.
Yes. So together with the government, the private sector, us, the internet society, the work that we're doing, we may not transform that like in the next 2 months and say, oh, everyone is connected. But as we work together towards the goal of having everyone on the internet in Zimbabwe, I think in the next 10 years, or 5, 10 could be a lot. 5, we'll be having a different conversation because of, I guess the other issue is also devices. There's someone who has doesn't have a mobile device that allows them to access internet. They've got computer, and internet could be there, but the device is not available. And they are routers, maybe they are boosters where they live, but the fact that they do not have the device, now that becomes a conversation of economy. And but then internet also is providing opportunities like digital marketing, content creation. All of those things are economically viable skills that you can make money out of using the internet. But it's also an ongoing conversation, and actually trying to understand what is it about content creation, how are people making money, how can I leverage on it. So it's a very long conversation that then touches issues with society, economy, and a bit of politics, because someone will say, oh no, I would have, but because, so yeah, those are my comments.
Okay. Interestingly to note, the observation that I made was, is that nowadays most people are with smartphones. Even the elderly, even the younger children in primary schools, they now have smartphones. I think the most difficult issue is about connectivity and the knowledge. I think if people know the benefits of getting involved in the internet, yeah, I think it's a conversation that can lead to something which can come up in a positive way.
I just have a question. It might sound like a question, but do you think the internet should be made a subject on its own that is taught in schools? Because most of the internet issues, I believe IT students or students who are doing some subjects linked to IT basically know more about the internet, like the issues of scamming, like phishing on the internet and all those. But then there are other, let's say maybe those who are in doing arts or commercials or business management. Maybe they only know the internet through their own experience, but not getting deep into the technicalities of the internet. Do you think it's something that should be taught even in school as a subject on its own, the internet?
I think it should be, but then remember the internet is constantly evolving. So the coursework for 2025 is different for 2026 because there's something new that has happened or a new technology that has been introduced. But what would be ideal is just having maybe just like a one small course on introduction to the internet for from primary school to university, because someone who has nothing to do with the internet will not even learn that in school, or someone who's not doing computer science or computers in school may not actually gain any knowledge directly, like you mentioned. So it would be nice to have that as part of the curriculum, just a short course, not big, not something that people go to exams for, but just a short course that just introduces people to internet and safety and cybersecurity, so that it doesn't become an afterthought. Right now, parents are struggling with helping their kids with homework because it now requires them to Google, and they never experienced using internet or computers during the time that they were studying. So they're really struggling. And also the children do not have role models or teachers, because the teacher who is teaching them in class actually has no full information of the internet and technology unless they are specialized in teaching computers. So teachers need to be taught first before they come to teach children about using or going to use the internet to help them with their homework. I don't know, I'm just thinking around that maybe the Ministry of Education should consider doing compulsory classes for IT, internet for their teachers, and they introduce a very short course so that we don't struggle or that knowledge gap does not widen for, let's say, someone who's doing creative subjects at A level. They are only depending on textbooks and notebooks. They don't necessarily need internet, but someone who's doing sciences may be exposed to a lot of internet usage because they are considered doing more complicated things.
If I'm someone who's reading things from the book, I know who authored the book. But the moment I start using the internet and I just get information, random information coming from all angles, how authentic is the information? How do I verify the authenticity? How do I actually say, yeah, this is the right material? I mean, the internet can be toxic. I can get very wrong information, especially with artificial intelligence. I believe if we put in garbage, we're also expecting to get garbage out. I mean, how do we protect ourselves in such instances? How do I, for instance, make sure that the things that I'm getting it's quite authentic? Like for news, you can actually say there are so many fake news moving around. So and so artist is dead. So and so has done this. Image generation, images are being generated. So and so has done this. So it's quite scary. The internet is quite a jungle. I mean, how can we tame the jungle? How can we authenticize the things that we are getting from the internet?
That is a very difficult question, and I may not have the actual answer for it because remember, I own here to the internet, and we're getting embarrassed every day because you need degree the ICT, but then what's going, like someone is
it's happening.
But then I went to school to do these things, but still I got scammed. It's I think it's a very fast evolving technology and we're trying to catch up. So I'll give you this analogy. There's, we used to live in caves, I don't know, like in the 1800s and stuff. And then we discovered that the caves, they don't have doors, so animals can just come and attack us. Then we introduced doors like stones, but then it didn't work. And then we started building, rock houses with no mortar, but just like rocks and stones. But then still, it was not secure. The enemy found ways of accessing. Yeah. And then we decided to let's make bricks, and we cover our houses nicely and put a roof, thatched roof. But then still, it was not secure. And eventually, we started building nice houses with windows and glass and stuff. But the enemy broke the glass and we put burglar bars. And burglar bars, it only took a pinches to open. And the next thing was like razor wire, electric fence and everything, and the dogs and everything. But still, they are still finding ways of, putting down all that armory that we are putting. So that's what's happening with the internet. We are constantly fighting a war that is very smart and intelligent, maybe also quite evolved than what we were ready for. So it's important for us to be, I wouldn't want to say hyper vigilant, but be vigilant, because not all news is real, not all pictures are real. Now, especially with AI, someone cannot tell the difference if it's me or if it's not me, or it's a vision of me in the multiverse, So it's been hectic in terms of verification. I think now you have to call and ask, did this thing really happen? Or you have to go on the ground to check for yourself. And I guess identify platforms that only post authentic news. If ZBC hasn't said anything about it, or Herald or Newsday, then I'm not sure if it's real, because you go on Facebook and you hear someone died, but this person is very much alive.
So before we conclude, I just want to give you an opportunity maybe to share where people, let's say people already, I know you said someone can just Google ISOC on the internet, but do you have any other social media handles where people can connect with you, maybe those who want to join, or just maybe help you? You were speaking about funding. Maybe there's someone who's watching this video who may think that they want to donate or help with some of the projects. Are there any platforms where they can communicate directly with people in the organization?
Yes. You can connect with the Internet Society through our social media platforms. There's Internet Society Zimbabwe chapter, or ISOBC chapter. And you can also attend our public events. We host so many free public events that you can attend and also follow through our work online. We have a very active public relations office that's constantly updating our issues or the things that we are doing online. Or we can reach out to us directly with our website, isocc.org. And we are also open to partnerships, conversations, and new voices in our community. So if you think you can contribute to the cause, feel free to join. Feel free to reach out to us via our social media platforms. And I'm on LinkedIn. I'm sure there is an opportunity to send a DM. So if you reach out, then we can start the conversation on how we can make the internet a safe place for everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Gladys, for joining us. It was indeed a very interesting conversation. And to all the viewers who have been watching, if this episode helped you, if it has inspired you or gave you a new perspective about the internet, please make sure to subscribe so that you keep on watching such conversations and you keep on getting inspired. We'll see you on the next episode.